Hello and welcome to the Trophy Trust. It's a weekly podcast for the PlayStation Trophy Hunters. I'm this week's host, Claire88, and I'm joined by the Dazil.
Hello, good evening.
And we have a new guest here, which is Sophie.
Hello.
Welcome, Sophie. Thanks for joining us this week on the podcast.
You're welcome.
Perfect. So normally what we do is the very first segment that we go through, we basically kind of discuss what we've been playing this week. I'm going to start off with Dazil. What have you been playing?
This week I have, I finally finished Nier Automata, which I mentioned last week, and I wanted to move on to something a little bit smaller before I moved on to, I bought the Uncharted Lost Legacy, but before I wanted to get really stuck into like a larger kind of game, I wanted something a little bit small in between just to kind of cleanse my gaming palette, so to speak. So I bought the Duke Nukem World Tour 20th Anniversary Edition, I believe that's its full title.
Yeah.
It's basically kind of like a port slash sort of slight remaster. It's had a bit of reworking done to it. I think it's a combination of two Duke Nukem games. I'm not really like well educated on the history of Duke Nukem. I never properly played it back in its day, but I have dabbled in it in the past. I also bought a little while ago the one that was on Vita. I think it was what was it called? Something like Nuclear Edition or something like that.
Yeah.
I bought that and I thought I'd try this one, and I actually platinumed it. It was actually a really easy platinum. I think I did it in about like 4 hours.
Yep.
Because you can enable cheats like basically God mode and all weapons, all ammo, and also one that's really handy as well. You can turn clipping off, so you can actually just walk straight through the walls and straight to the end of the level. So it makes it really easy.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And you just fight the boss. You just literally walk through the wall to the boss and then just fight it. So, and it was really cheap. It was in the PSN sale. I think it was down to only, I think it was like £6 or £7. It was down from like 15. It was like half price or below half price. I thought I'd give it a punt for that price.
I actually got platinum on that myself about 2 weeks ago. I can confirm what that says. Very, very easy. Cheap. Goes on sale a lot, and as I said, you can use all the cheats for it as well. So it's pretty enjoyable as well. But like, I wasn't too familiar with the Duke Nukem stuff either, so I don't really know if it is that mix of two games, like I said. But for a trophy hunter, it's a very, very easy platinum to knock out.
Yeah, absolutely. I only had one little problem with it. The game does tend to crash. It can crash quite a bit. Yeah, quite a bit. So I think that messed up some of the like the background counting of like trophy requirements, because there's one where one of the trophies is you have to kill a total of 1,000 enemies across the entire game, and I definitely killed well over 1,000, because there's a particular boss area where loads of enemies spawn. And this game has this kind of save system where it's like a save state where you can instantly revert back to it. It has a rewind feature, which was in the Vita version, where you can like just literally scroll back, like actually rewind your gameplay and play again. But it also you can create saves at any point in the game and just instantly jump back to that point. And I was just farming this one area in this boss area, and I was doing it for about 2 hours, and I was thinking, this isn't right. Like, it had crashed prior, and maybe even a few times after that.
I got a lot of crash as well. Now, what I want to say was, like you said, you've been reloading the save for the enemies now. There's also a trophy for like discovering a certain amount of secret areas, and what I did was I kept on doing the save thing as well. But then me and Void were actually playing it at the exact same time, and when I reloaded, I kept on reloading and like discovering the same secret, reload and do it. But I did that like loads and loads of times, and it didn't work. And then I figured out that you couldn't reload the save. You had to actually use that rewind feature, like you were saying, and then it started counting towards the trophy.
So I after like 2 hours of farming, the trophy didn't like pop. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to delete my save data and try again. And after about half an hour of farming, the trophy did pop, and it was the last trophy I needed. So there was obviously the crashing did do some kind of damage to the save data.
Yeah.
So other than like the crashing, which doesn't happen like too often, but it's when you're like reloading saves quickly or something. I read online it might have something to do with the rewind systems, but you can disable that in the options. After I disabled that, it didn't seem like it crashed anymore. So there could be some weight to that theory.
Yeah.
It was good though. It was fine. I enjoyed it, and you get an option, don't you? You can sort of switch it from like how it used to look to kind of like an improved lighting mode, and it does look really good in this like improved light mode for what Duke Nukem looks like. That kind of Doom, old Wolfenstein, Castle Wolfenstein style of visuals. It's fun anyway. It holds up like from the proper. Like I did actually play some of it legit. I didn't just glide through the walls.
Yeah.
Willy nilly. I did actually play some of it.
It
was really fun.
Like you said though, it's one of those perfect games that you can play in between long games. That's exactly how I trophy hunt as well. I wouldn't be able to just commit myself to one overall long game. I do that often enough, but I have to have smaller little filler games in between that now. And Duke Nukem's one of those perfect games. I think that can, like you said, you've been doing it in between the Lost Legacy, so it's a very good. It's a very good game for trophy hunters to pick up and earn a very easy platinum.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be worth picking up if it's cheap then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you're a trophy hunter or you're even a fan of Duke Nukem or
I've never played any of the games, so
I'd say give it a go. It's A, an easy platinum, and B, it's actually quite fun. Even with like God mode turned on, you can actually have quite a lot of fun just sort of breezing through the levels. It's from like a bygone era of gaming, and they tried to revive Duke Nukem with Duke Nukem Forever, and we all know how that turned out. It was
I don't think the game would survive nowadays because it's very crude and it's very
absolutely,
it's very rude as well. So it probably wouldn't take the audience wouldn't take to it nowadays for what he says, So
yeah, absolutely. Sophie, do you play like smaller games between bigger games, like to kind of like keep it fresh?
Not really, no.
You just sort of do like one big game to another big game.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm not sure. I kind of jump between games. Like I've got so many that I'm halfway playing, and I just jump on something new. So I'm not very linear.
It sounds like the backlog demon has a victim.
Yeah, I can't play like that. I have to play my games to 100% before moving on to the next one. I guess I'm a little obsessive compulsive about completion. I'm a bit of a completionist.
Yeah.
I did that with Uncharted 1 to 4, and I think it's just put me off it a bit now. So
you played 1 to 4 back to back?
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't do that. I would get franchise fatigue for that.
I platinumed them all as well. It was awful.
I have to play different games in between if I'm doing like a franchise and sequels because it's just way too much. It's because it's the same type of gameplay, and like so Uncharted 1 is like 6 to 8 hours. Uncharted 2 and 3 are a little bit longer, and then Uncharted 4 is like the longest out of like the quadrilogy.
Yeah.
Oh man, you must have had like 30 hours, 40 hours maybe?
Yeah, it took me a while. I think it was about a month and a half. Obviously with uni and stuff, and that's why I haven't picked up the Lost Legacy yet.
Okay. Yeah, well, just speaking of Lost Legacy, that's my other game, but I'm not actually too far into it to make too much of a comment. But I'm just saying I'm really enjoying it. I guess I'm just guessing. I haven't looked up how many chapters there are or anything, but I'm guessing I'm just below halfway. I'm really, really liking it. It's quintessential Uncharted. It's great, and it's got like a larger kind of open world portion, like we found in 4, where you can roam around in a jeep to different kind of like camps or different kind of ruins to acquire what you need to acquire the treasure that you're there for, and you find like enemies. It's a bit of, I'm gonna make a Metal Gear Solid 5 comparison. Like it's kind of a little bit like that, where there's like different encampments of enemies like knocking around in the area, and you have to like kind of sneak or take them on head on. And I really like it. I personally think it's quite refreshing after like 5 games, if you include the Vita, of like linear Uncharted, just and set pieces. It's kind of nice to have a bit to roam around. And there's actually a kind of a side quest, if you kind of want to call it that, where you can just go and collect the main treasure parts or objectives, but there's also a sub objective, like collectibles within the open area to gather up, and they give you a gameplay mechanic reward for it. I'm not going to spoil what it is. It's nothing big, but it is helpful.
Now, normally I would never let a new game like Uncharted come out without me playing it day one. But the shame of my backlog is it's just too much. Like I have to put it on the back burner. I haven't actually bought any new games whatsoever, but I'm really looking forward to picking it up. Everyone who's played it said really, really good things. I actually just want to go back a little bit, just a little back to what Sophie said. For playing all four of them, if you started out that like in the order that they came out, like as far as I can remember, by the time you finish the platinum on like the first, second, and third one, you get up to 4, and you'd have to play that like twice. You'd have to play it on crushing, and you'd have to do a speed playthrough as well. So I can imagine like I'd be fed up of it probably at that stage, you know.
I didn't even do the speed playthrough properly. I was so fed up of it that time. I just did chapter 1 and then skipped to the end.
Well, yeah, me too. I hate speed runs in games. Absolutely hate it. So yeah, no doubt, I absolutely did use the
I did a legit. I did the speed run, but I think I did one of the difficulty ones where there was like auto aim or something like that, or one shot, one kills. Actually, that's what it was.
Yeah, with Uncharted 4, when you attempt crushing after doing it on like in any other mode, you can unlock like the cheats or tweaks or whatever they called it, where you could put on like infinite ammo and select your weapons. I believe that is the case for Uncharted Lost Legacy as well, but I'm just doing it crushing straight away, legit, with like no tweaks or anything. And so far, I'm finding it pretty standard, to be honest, pretty standard Uncharted. It's actually, I think it's pretty generous, actually. Like, if you don't run straight into the thick of it like an idiot and kind of like, play Uncharted like it's supposed to be played, like cover-based and, or use stealth to advantage to take down the trickiest enemies first, it's not too bad. I'm not really finding it that frustrating on crushing compared to like say like 1, which is like brutal on crushing mode. Isn't brutal a mode they added in on the DLC?
Yeah,
crushing and brutal.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that in the not in the sense of Uncharted, but like actually brutal crushing mode on the first game.
Yeah, there's a separate trophy for it, but luckily the trophy was resigned to DLC class trophy, so it's not needed for platinum. I never got it, never did it.
Well, that's what I've been playing this week, anyway.
Great. Yeah, some like 2 really good games. One I have platinum, and another one that is in my backlog. Really looking forward to getting down to getting Uncharted done, because I've got all the other platinum, so that will be my 9th and final Uncharted trophy. We don't know.
We'll see, won't we? Because we'll see how well Lost Legacy does, because I feel this is like they're kind of testing the water here for potential future spin-offs,
Yeah, of course, like as a first Uncharted game without Nate, they're going to see how well it can do, so I wouldn't be surprised to see more Uncharted without him in the future, and I'm okay with that, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
Naughty Dog make very, very good games, so I'm really happy there. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've actually been playing this week, and like I said, no new games are going to be mentioned from me here. I'm balls deep in the shame of my backlog. I'm trying to get as much done as possible, and we're coming into the silly season here now, where like loads of new games are coming out, and I'm literally just going to ignore all of them. So I've been keeping up with the Elite Dangerous. I know I've been saying that, and I've been playing a little bit about Knack 2. It's probably going to be my game of the year. No, it's not. But it definitely doesn't deserve the hate that a lot of people give it. Looks like it's an easier platinum than what the first was. I didn't get the platinum in the first one.
The first one required like the mobile game as well, didn't it? Or to make it easier to like farm. Was it like shards or gems or something or other?
It's kind of stupid the way that mechanic is, because you can basically, when you find a treasure chest, it gives you a random like part for a gadget, and you can choose to like pick the part from, like, if someone on your friends list has got a different part, you can choose the part that they got, if you understand. So otherwise it's going to be very RNG, and you're just going to have to keep opening treasure chests. But the problem with that is you need to have people who have played the game on your friends list, and they have to have gotten that like extra part or that.
Yeah, I hate those kind of like trophy lists where it's like play a game or beat a friend's ghost or score or something.
Yeah.
Because you have to rely on people in your list having it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you could always go on the forums and find a boosting partner, but
it's
you have to find someone who's still playing it.
And some people like don't have friends like me, so like it's very, very tough that kind of stuff to be able to get that done. But that's pretty much what I've been playing. Like I said, a lot of other games. I've broken one of my rules. I played too many games, and now I don't like. I'm literally sitting in front of my PlayStation, going, oh, "What am I even going to continue?" I'm 30% on Mafia 3. I'm like 20% on Knack. I'm still playing Elite Dangerous and like sometimes and Crash Bandicoot as well. So I sit down and I've got that many games in front of me. I actually don't know what to play. You know, did you ever get that? Like, and then I just end up like watching something on Netflix or something like that because I can't decide what game to play.
You need to exercise some self-control with your gaming, Claire.
I'm gonna have to hire someone to whip me behind and like focus me on these games because my
like a personal trainer for gaming.
Yeah, like that's exactly it. Like they're gonna have to like give out to me in my face to say you have to complete this game right now before you can buy any more games. Because it's gotten ridiculous. Like so, like I said, I haven't been playing any new games whatsoever. Just still in the backlog, swimming in the backlog. I don't see the shore. I need help. I need help, guys. But that's enough for me anyway. That's all I've been playing. Like I said, nothing new. So I wanted to ask Sophie what actually you've been playing.
I've not really been playing much lately. I've been playing Just Cause 3.
That was part of PlayStation Plus last month, wasn't it?
Yeah. I've been playing that and going back onto what you said about the whole having people on your friends list that play it. There's some stupid trophies on that with that.
There is actually. You have to like call someone out. I think that's the trophy, is it? Yeah. Like,
I've done that one, and you got to like beat people's scores. And when you're pretty bad at the game, it's not that easy.
I did try 2 was on PlayStation Plus years ago for PS3, and I did try it, but it just didn't click with me, and I ended up deleting it. So I had no interest in
I really like
playing 3. But I've looked at 3's trophy guide, and it's like a pretty tricky trophy guide. It's like, is it like 8 or 9 out of 10 difficulty on the forums?
Oh, I don't think it's about 8 or 9 really. Oh jeez, no, I've got the platinum. I played it at release. I think the biggest difficulty on the game is maybe the frame rate. Maybe there's so many things happening at once because it's literally chaos. I really enjoyed Just Cause 2, but Just Cause 3 is harder because they've got these. Once you get to the very end game, there's wingsuit challenges. Few of them are very, very tricky. Like some of them really.
I'm quite good at that. I struggle on the flying ones.
Yeah, there's.
I cannot control that helicopter to save my life.
Yeah, it doesn't help that the game is so random. Like I could be doing a wingsuit and then like this car comes out of nowhere and just smacks me out of the sky. Like it's complete chaos. Like I said, I think the frame rate is probably the worst thing about the game as well on PlayStation.
I've not had any issues with it, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. I'm just looking at the difficulty here. Yeah, you're right. It's like 5 out of 10, but it says here like estimated time 50 to 75 hours, and
sounds like that. Yeah,
I don't want to invest that amount of time in a game I'm not really that bothered about, to be honest.
I really liked it, but like I said, I don't think it's for everyone. And I think the wingsuit challenges are very tough as well. Probably only about 3 or 4 of them, but they could. I know some people in the Discord have mentioned that they got some trouble with it as well, but.
I've not played it, but am I guessing it's similar to like flying through rings and stuff?
That's exactly what it is.
Why do game developers keep putting that in games? Flying through rings in the time limit. It's like they've been doing it since like the worst one in like all of gaming history is like Superman 64. But since that point, it's just in every game. It's in like the Lego games. It's in like similar in the Batman games with the AR challenges. They just keep doing this filler, and it's terrible.
It's even worse than Just Cause 3 because it's not just one ring. There's layers to the ring, so you can hit the outs. Like you can get into the ring, and then if you hit a certain percentage, you'll only get like 75% of the points, and then if you hit like dead center, you get double the amount of points.
Oh, so they're like targets basically more than rings.
Yeah. That makes it a little
that
bit.
Sounds like an absolute ball ache.
It's an extra layer of difficulty, to be honest.
I quite like it, but
yeah, I mean, I like it as well, but I mean, if I didn't like it, I would be the same as Daz. It's way too long of a game to be investing into something that I didn't like. But
so, do you think you'll put any time into platinum in it, or you just sort of casually?
I'm considering it. I think the only thing that I'm going to have a problem with is getting like 5 stars on all the challenges, because some of them are just awful at. But we'll see.
Hopefully, yeah.
Need to finish it first.
That's it.
Sure.
Any other games besides Just Cause 3?
I picked up Destiny 2.
Destiny
of course.
2.
Yeah, I'm
just this week.
Not very far in it yet.
Well, I was a big Destiny player. I was mad into the very first year of Destiny 1. Like, I mean, I didn't earn any trophies. I literally dedicated all my time to playing Destiny. I can't see myself doing that for Destiny 2, and I haven't even picked it up here now because, like I said, the shame of my backlog. So I wanted to kind of ask you, like, how are you finding? Did you play Destiny 1?
Yeah, I did. I picked it up like a couple of years later, so I wasn't a whole year one kind of person. But I like this one a lot more than the first one.
Yeah, I heard it fixes like a lot of the main issues that people had with the very first one, which basically is the story, lack of the story, maybe lack of content at the very launch.
Yeah, I was there day one, and I played it. I can't remember exactly how long, but like a good couple of, probably about a month or a little bit over.
Maybe you
it was
left once the loot cave was patched, maybe.
Yeah. What kind of got me off of the first Destiny was, like, I really enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I had a good old time with it with loads of people from Twitter and on my friends list, and like real life friends as well playing it, and we had a really good time. But I just found it really repetitive in the end, doing the same kind of like raids over and over, strikes over and over.
Yeah.
Again,
I didn't even do any strikes. And I really struggled with like finding quests. That sounds really stupid, but I just couldn't work out where to go.
Yeah, like you get like your random encounters, and then I don't know, it's like, I think once the honeymoon period was over, I kind of like, I don't know, I'm not the kind of person that like dwells on a game for months and months, and I got a lot of the trophies. I think the only ones I didn't have was like doing the
Flawless Raider, maybe.
Yeah, Flawless Raider, because I never really finished the Vault of Glass. We got right to the end, like literally to the final room, and it just kind of all fell apart. We were on it for hours, and it just fell apart. And
yeah,
I think after that was my kind of decline from Destiny 1. And just to round up my point, I'm not really interested in Destiny 2. If you're into it, more power to you. It's just not for me. I had my fill of that type of game first time round.
I think it's the type of game that you have to play Destiny and not play other games. And that's what I was like in the very first year. I was into it because I was in with a group of friends at that time, and we played primarily just because it's kind of friends that would keep you going and playing that game, the hopping on, playing the same strikes, the same raids. So unless you have a big group of people to play with, you'll really, really easily fall out with the game as well. I hear though that this Destiny 2 has like LFG matchmaking, so that like before there was no matchmaking in a raid. You had to like seek out people and seek out groups to be able to go through raids, but I think it's different in this one. Can you confirm that, Sophie? Is it?
I've not played any.
I know that raids actually isn't out on Destiny 2.
Yeah.
So
I haven't even played like Crucible yet. I'm still just exploring.
So that's kind of the reason why I left Destiny, because like I said, I was massive into Destiny year one. It was very, very tough back then. I did the Flawless Raider before any DLC came out. I mean, I tried for about 6 weeks, maybe hundreds of times, to do the Vault Raid from the very start to the very finish. And we eventually got a group of people that did do it. So, like, it was really, really tough back then, though. But like each DLC that came out made the game easier. And then, like now, you can literally get the Destiny 1 Platinum extremely easy. So kind of diluted the hardness of the trophy list for me, and how proud I was to get it. And then they also shift from, I didn't think the DLC was as good as the main game. So like once Vault of Glass, so I played that raid, I thought it was amazing, but every raid after that was just, it wasn't as good in my opinion. So I was kind of really let down. And like I said, they focused a lot on PvP then, and I never ever played PvP. Like, I mean, fuck that shit. I hate it. Like, it's also peer to peer, so they don't have dedicated servers, and it's just a lag fest everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, you can't you're shooting someone 1 second, and he comes up and he just tickled you, and then you're dead. And you've emptied a whole clip into his face, and it doesn't work.
Yeah,
so,
I really wasn't a fan of Crucible, and I didn't play what's the other one called? The one that's that one kind of like event.
Lighthouse.
No, something of Iron. Is it not Rise of
Iron?
Yeah,
the Iron whatever.
Oh, Iron
Banner. Iron
yeah.
Banner. That's it. I know Iron was in the name. No, I didn't even play that. I played a bit of PvP, but it was all about. I did have fun with PvP when I was with friends, but playing it on your own is kind of a bit of a drag.
Yeah, definitely. And
I think it's kind of game you got to have friends to really
absolutely
enjoy it properly, which I don't have, so we'll see how long it lasts.
Well, I know there's a lot of people in, like, we have a dedicated Destiny 2 chat, voice chat and a text chat channel in our Discord here, and there's a lot of guys playing it. I will be picking it up, but I assume it's going to go the same way. Like at launch, the game is going to be very hard, but once it drags on and like as time goes on and they release DLC and stuff like that, it's just going to get easier. And I hope I'm going to like jump in at that time and my friends are going to be all like really high levels. They're going to carry me and I'm going to get to platinum really, really easy. Like that's my plan in Destiny 2. But it's the kind of game where, to be honest, a lot of people who play Destiny only play Destiny. They don't play any other type of game because it's that kind of game that demands that amount of attention to it. And for me, I can't do that anymore. So
well, yeah, it's an MMO, isn't it? So
essentially,
of course it demands loads of time. The way the game's designed and the way it's built and the way it's sort of just structured, it is an MMO, you know. So you need to invest a lot of time to get the reward out of it, I suppose.
Now, half my timeline on Twitter is giving out about some stuff in Destiny 2, and the other half are justifying it. Probably because they like the game and they don't really see the problem on it. I'm kind of halfway on both. But apparently there's a lot of microtransactions in Destiny 2. Now, I don't think, like I said, I haven't played the game, only Sophie has here, so maybe she can correct me, but I don't think they're necessarily pay to win kind of based. It's more cosmetic and stuff like that, but it's the kind of cosmetic stuff that people really, really enjoyed. And even if, as far as I'm aware, like there's shaders so you can like change the different color of your like gear and stuff like that, but now they're only it used to be consumable, but now it's only one use. I'm not too sure. That wouldn't bother me whatsoever. I think the only thing that would bother me is that there's a game that's extremely popular that's sold for full price and probably will never go on sale, and it's owned and published by like, you know, one of the biggest publishers out there, and it still doesn't have dedicated servers. That would piss me off, you know what I mean? If they said that we're selling microtransactions, they're cosmetic only, and we're using it to fund the servers, I'd be like, that's great, no problem. But they don't. Like, it still relies on another person's connection for that big of a game, Destiny 2. Like, Activision are notorious as well for it. Like, I mean, none of the Call of Duties, which is arguably the biggest first-person shooter of all time, none of them have ever had dedicated servers as far as I'm aware.
No, that's always comes up like on PC as well, isn't it? There's always like a big sort of outcry about no dedicated servers on certain games on PC. That's always what people demand from big games, big multiplayer games. And of course you can, depending on like the different types of connections all around the world, or other people's different tiers of internet, their local area, you know, there's so many different variables, you know.
Yeah, like I said, you could see somebody's 30 meters away from you. You could empty your entire clip at him, and then he just walks up to you, tickles you, and you're dead. You know, and that's kind of stuff that would just make me close the game and just be like, right, fuck that. You know what I mean? And I actually have to refer to some of the guys in here now. I think there's a PvP trophy. The trophy list is really, really, like we discussed this in a previous podcast for Destiny 2. It's the least imaginative trophy list that I could have thought of, but I think there is a trophy related to PvP. I'm not too sure what it is exactly.
I haven't even looked at it yet.
It's only 14 trophies, including the platinum. Pretty basic list, really. But the requirements for the trophies are going to take, you know, a good amount of hours to get anyway. So it's not like you're going to be playing Destiny for 6 hours and they're going to have the platinum. The trophies are going to require a lot of investment.
No, I'm actually looking at the trophy list here now. One of the trophies is for completing the raid that's going to come out, the Leviathan raid, but also there's another trophy for saying that you have to complete the Leviathan raid or a Nightfall strike on prestige difficulty. So as far as I'm aware, like usually the raids come out first on normal, and then after a month or so they release the hard mode one. So it's going to be very, very difficult platinum to get. Like I said, even though there's very, very little trophies, the requirements for that trophy is going to take a long, long time. Okay, so that's pretty much exactly what we've all been playing. So we wanted to move on to the next section, which is a little bit about the news. And I think a lot of people are going to be pretty happy with some of the news that we're going to be talking about. Essentially is that, and I wanted to bring it up because I'm really, really excited for it as well. I played it on PlayStation 3. I did not get the platinum because I wasn't as focused on my trophy hunting back then. But it's just recently been announced that Noire is going to come to PlayStation 4 and Xbox and even a Switch So really, really excited about that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
me
really,
too.
really, really looking forward to playing that game again.
Yeah, I really did enjoy that game on PS3.
Did you get
We have
platinum?
spoken. Yeah, I did.
Ah, nice.
We spoke about it a few episodes ago, I think. I'm sure we did. But the only thing that was a real problem in that game for me, at least in terms of getting platinum, was you have to like air quotations collect, but you had to drive like basically every car in the game. Like so, find it and just get in it, and that counts as it being collected. And when it gets down to like the final like one or two, it's it's really hard because you have to kind of find areas where particular cars spawn. Like you know, driver just for example, I can't even remember if this is in the game or not, but you can easily find like a fire truck or this particular type of van somewhere. But the kind of more generic kind of cars that look very similar. I remember in the game's menu, you could actually, there's like a showroom mode where you can look at all the car models and it like blanks out the models that you don't have. I think I remember going online and finding pictures of the ones I didn't have and like remembering what the front like grills of the cars looked like. So then I could spot them in the road and try to find out what areas, what blocks that they would spawn on. I did eventually get it. It's just a bit of a pain in the ass, you know, waiting for them to spawn. I'd just be driving around the same block over and over, just waiting for the chance. It's one car left to spawn. And but overall, I really enjoyed the game. It just felt so fresh. Like it was just so different at the time. Like there'd been nothing really too much like it before. Like using that facial capture, which did look a bit kind of. It still does look kind of bizarre. Like it doesn't, like the faces don't quite gel with the necks and the bodies. But I can look past that because I understand what they were going for about looking for the tells on people's faces if they're lying or not, which is you know really clever when you think about it. And I'm definitely going to get it again. Maybe not immediately, but I'm definitely going to get it. And I'm looking forward to playing it on PlayStation 4 Pro because it's going to be.
What's it actually about? I've not actually played it.
Well, just roughly, you start off as a beat cop. It's set in I can't remember if it's like 1930s or
1920s.
Is it 20s? Is it even before that?
Yeah.
It's in Los Angeles, and you are a beat cop to start off with, and you basically like work your way up, like detective, and then you do different. Then as the story progresses, you play as a guy called Cole Phelps, and you work your way up and you try different, like you do homicide and then arson and vice. So you do like different, you know, you work through the murder desk and then you work through all the drugs and then arson, of course. And it's just a really cool story.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it as well. Like I said, I wasn't a trophy hunter back then. So, well, I was, but I wasn't as serious about it as I am now. I actually did a few months ago. I purchased it on PlayStation 3 and I went back and I started playing it, and I left it. You know, I haven't really done it. I'm definitely not going to go back and play it now once a new experience and a new trophy list is coming out on PlayStation 4. But also for those of us who have PlayStation 4 Pros, it's going to be in 4K, which is going to be a very, very good, nice treat to be able to play it in.
Yeah, I remember the game looking really, really good back in the day. Like a kind of standard sort of like Rockstar-esque
open
world sort of map driving around. There's not as much to do in your kind of, when you think of Rockstar open map, you think of like all the different letters all around of things to do. It's not quite like that. There are a few bits to do, but
it's actually not as open, I think, because like with Grand Theft Auto, you could go anywhere. You could go on top of that mountain and you could shoot rockets down on helicopters or whatever the hell you want to do, but you can't do that in this LA North.
More like Claire, did you play Mafia 2?
Yes.
The map's like that. It feels open, but it's not really that much more to do outside of the main story.
And considering you're a cop, you can't just go ahead and like kill everyone.
Yeah, precisely. You're on the right side of the law this time around, like for a Rockstar style sandbox game. So, and also the cars don't explode in this game. Like in a GTA game, you could crash them and explode and it would kill you. But in this game, you just total the cars and they just kind of smoke and steam, which I always found actually good because I've wrecked a lot of cars in that game because I'm a terrible driver in games. So having the cars not blow up and kill me, I really appreciated that.
Yeah, one thing also about the game that they announced, like I was really happy to hear that obviously it has 4K support for both the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro, and that's coming to Switch as well, so those guys are going to be able to experience it. But it also has they've redone it so that there's some VR segments now. Unfortunately, they said it, well, they didn't say it, but they didn't announce anything for PlayStation VR. They only said that it's going to come to Steam OS and the Vive, HTC Vive for VR. But I really hope that that's some kind of exclusive thing, and that
timed deal.
Yeah, that's just going to come to PSVR. Because I'm actually trying to think, like, it'd be like, do you see first person through Cole's eyes, and you're looking around? Like, can you go up to somebody's face, like, really, really, like, you know?
I don't
really
know
close
whether
to
if you, in regards to like just VR in general and like motion sickness, I don't know whether like walking and driving freely around the city you could do that for too long unless it's done in something. Because like with a lot of VR games, you kind of just snap around the environment to like minimize motion sickness.
Yeah.
When you've got like a free camera, even if it's done in a decent way, like you're not moving too quickly after prolonged periods of playing it, it can make you feel a bit queasy. So I don't know, because it's like, if you've seen like gameplay footage for the Doom VR game coming out in December, you don't just freely walk around the environments, you kind of snap around. Like you can teleport, like there's like a circle that you can select on the floor, like anywhere, but you just teleport immediately to it. You don't freely walk to kind of, minimize.
Have you played Farpoint? You get to freely move around in Farpoint, like, cause if you have the gun, which I do, there's analog sticks on the gun, and you get to move like around. But there's loads of settings, like when you can turn in like 15 degrees or 30 degree segments and stuff like that. But if you turn that off and you spin around, I mean, good luck to you. You know, you're going to be in a coma.
Yeah, there's very similar settings in Resident Evil 7 in VR as well.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that.
The VR in Resident Evil 7, it lets you do that kind of like incremental turns, or you can also turn that off. But when I turned it off and went into free camera, kind of like roam around, it made me feel a little bit queasy.
Yeah, it made me feel really sick, so I had to stop playing it.
But one note on VR for Resident Evil 7 is they did a really clever thing, which I noticed, is when you get kicked around or moved around a lot, or like thrown through a window by like an enemy or whatnot, it has this kind of like black tunnel vision that kind of narrows your view, which I thought was a really clever way of minimizing motion sickness as well, because instead of having like all this movement in the periphery of your vision, it kind of narrows it with a black tunnel vision, so you don't kind of get too sick. Like I didn't really feel much, if any at all, sickness playing Resident Evil 7, because they did quite a good job of optimizing the options for the player. But just going back to LA Noire, I don't know whether it's going to be, because they haven't really detailed the VR stuff yet. But I really don't think it's going to be you roaming around the city in the full game. But it could be. I don't know. I mean,
could be.
We'll have to see.
I think they might limit it to the cases only. You know, when you sit down, when you interview people and stuff like that. Like,
that would make sense in VR, wouldn't it? Interviewing people in first person, looking for their tells, like right up close.
Yeah, because I can't, like, there's some points, I don't want to give anything away, and to be honest, I can't really remember that much of the story to give it away anyway, but like, there's some parts where you have to like storm a movie set and like shoot behind cover to, basically it's like Grand Theft Auto, you know what I mean? There's Grand Theft Auto sections where you have to like shoot and stuff like that, but I think it's only going to be limited to the cases and not the open world, because Vec actually posted a photo there where you have to, and it just remembered me, like, you have to inspect evidence and stuff like that, so I can imagine
that would be good,
you
picking up things.
Yeah, picking up stuff with like a move controller and then looking at it really intensely, turning it yourself in real time and stuff like that. So I think that's how they're going to implement it, but I don't know why I'm getting my hopes up, because they haven't even announced PSVR, but I really, really hope it comes to it.
We're just talking hypothetically here with like hopes, getting our hopes up. Yeah. It would be nice. It would be nice having like some kind of LA Noire game on PSVR. That'd be awesome. That'd be a great addition.
Rockstar love money, and I have money. So I'd be really, really happy to see that come true. And like I said, with all remasters, another trophy list. So and with 4K, even if it's not VR, we're still going to be able to play it in 4K. So for those who have PlayStation Pros, I'm fortunate enough to have that kind of full setup. So I'm really looking forward to being able to experience it again like that.
Yeah, I have the Pro and a 4K TV, and just going back to like Uncharted Lost Legacy, although that's not running at true 4K or native 4K, the game is incredible. It just looks absolutely insane. Like some during some cutscenes with the lighting against the character models. I mean, I think I've spent a good 20% of my time playing that game just in photo mode, just capturing photos, because it's such a photogenic game. And,
I've seen that's the majority of the stuff I've seen on Twitter was photo mode. It looks beautiful. Like, man, Uncharted 4 blew me away. Like, I have a much more powerful PC, and I thought Uncharted 4 looked better than anything I had played on my PC. So that's, I think, is a testament to what Naughty Dog can do. So I'm really, really looking forward to getting into it.
Sure. Sophie, do you think you'll try LA Noire? You've not played it, obviously, because you asked what it was about.
Yeah, from what you said, it sounds like it'd be worth checking out. But...
definitely one of the most interesting games, because you have to you go to murder scenes, crime scenes, and you literally inspect the body. You look at wounds on the body. You look at scattered evidence around potential murder weapons, anything that's on the scene, and you pick it up in first person mode, and you have to inspect stuff up close. You turn your hand around and
you can you finish cases early as well. So I completely missed some parts of evidence as well. I completely overlooked.
Yeah, you can actually convict the wrong people as well. You can actually put the wrong people in jail.
Really?
So,
yeah,
it's not like linear. You actually have to gather evidence in your notebook. You have to make a choice, and you interview people. And when you interview them, you have to watch their faces to see if they're lying. You have to find alibis. It's basically a really good detective game.
Yeah, very.
And you can screw up. You can mess it up and put the wrong people in jail. And I think I'm not sure if that does affect it overall. I can't remember, actually. It's been so long since I played it.
It affects the star rating that you get for the case, and of course for trophies and stuff like that, you need to get the maximum and all that. So
you need 5-star it or 3-star it or whatever it is.
I already know the story, so if I pick it up again, when I pick it up again, I'm going to be following a guide, because I don't really care about spoilers. But if you're going into it for the very first time, I mean, just be aware that you can. It's basically, take your time, look throughout the entire level.
There's some really good cases as well, some really good twists and turns.
Sometimes you'll have to interview someone, and then they'll give you bogus information, and then you can think it's bogus information. You can look around, find some contradicting evidence, go back to them, and then further question them again. So I'm really, really it's like I said, it's a kind of a unique game in that aspect.
It's a great game. It's a really good game, and I'm glad we're going to get another chance for it to get a new lick of paint and be played again. I really am looking forward to it, for sure.
It does sound like it'd be worth picking up anyway.
I don't know what the price tag is going to be, but I don't think it's if like most remasters, this is going to include all the DLC as well. When it first launched, it had DLC cases as well, which were actually, funny enough, not set after the story, but kind of set in the story. It's hard to explain, but the cases you could play after the game, but they were kind of set during early parts of the game. But I guess if the DLC is all included, I guess it will just play in chronological order anyway. But anyway, that aside, price point, I'm not imagining this is going to be full brand new game price. Most remasters are around £30.
40. Yeah, that's
£40 at most.
No, that's what I was discussing. Euro, I think €40, which is about £30. I'd say is probably a sweet.
I think it's more expensive on the Switch though. I read somewhere that it's $10 or whatnot more expensive on the Switch, but that's to do with cartridge manufacturing.
Yeah.
It's more expensive to manufacture cartridges for the Switch than it is discs. But I might not even buy it on disc. I might wait even longer and see if it pops up in a sale, because sometimes remasters go down cheap really quickly. Sometimes.
Yeah, it's also out in November, which is smack bang in the middle of silly season for games. So, I mean, unless you haven't played it before and you're a massive rockstar, I think a lot of people are going to be buying COD or Assassin's Creed, Shadow Mordor, all those kind of stuff that's going to be come out this month. So it really kind of depends. I think I'll probably do the same. I won't pick it up at launch, and I'll play it sometime down along the road.
Okay,
but definitely,
we already spoke about Destiny anyway. Prior to that, that's the other news this week already covered.
Yeah, so some of the other, there's only one other thing that just got announced there not too long ago. Now, I actually haven't personally played it, but everyone, most of the people that I know who I follow on Twitter have nothing but good things to say about that, and that's Okami HD. And as far as I'm aware, it is a port of the PlayStation 3 version, because I mean that was the HD collection of the PlayStation 2 version. So
I didn't play it myself, but I remember my girlfriend playing it. They did the HD remaster of it for PS3, and you're saying this is now a port over to PS4 of the PS3 version.
Yeah, so this is kind of like they keep on reviving it, but a lot of people seem very very happy about it. Like it's not like they're flogging a dead horse or anything like that. But it's a PlayStation 2 game, HD remaster on PlayStation 3, and now we're going to get it on PlayStation 4. So I think if it's going to come out on all those systems, I may as well play it because I missed it on the last two generations. So I think it's a hard platinum. Like I said, I'm not too sure. I don't even know what the game is about. All I know is it's kind of an art style of Japanese, and you're a dog. That's as much as I know.
Yeah, I've never played it myself. I've only seen people play it. Not really on my radar, to be honest.
Sometimes I'm swayed by if a lot of people on Twitter that I follow and I trust would tell me this is a game that you have to play, I would play it. But it kind of depends.
Yeah, well, I that's what I did for Near Automata, but I ended up not enjoying it. So take it with a pinch of salt, I guess, when you see people praising a game. I'm not saying don't trust people. I'm just saying that everyone's taste is different. A lot of people might like something, and you might not necessarily chime with it.
Have you played it, Sophie? Have you played it, or any experience with it?
No, I don't even know what it's about.
Yeah, so like I said, as much as I know is that it's a Japanese style game in artwork.
Yeah, I did just Google it, but I don't really think it'd be my kind of thing personally. But
just looking at the trophy guide here now on PlayStationTrophies.org, 3.5 difficulty rating, 40 to 60 hours, so, and 4 missable trophies. So it looks like kind of like an average game, maybe. But like I said, I've literally no experience, so that's as much as I can comment on the game. But it is coming out, and a lot of people are excited for it. So good for them.
Anything else in the news?
Not too much on the news front there. So usually our next section then kind of goes into new release trophies that we talk about, and there's only really one game that I want to bring up that's of interest to anyone really this week, besides some obscure Japanese games. It's a Dishonored: The Death of the Outsider game that's coming out. It's actually coming out this month. I think it's on the 16th of September, I believe. A full game, platinum. I think it started off as kind of like the Lost Legacy, where they were considering it to be DLC, but it evolved into its own standalone game. So I don't think it's going to be like a full numbered Dishonored game.
Yeah, that's happened a few times in the past. Like one I can think off the top of my head right now is Saints Row 4, because that was going to be a DLC for Saints Row the Third. It was going to be Enter the Dominatrix, but then they just kind of like expanded upon it and made it its own standalone game, which is kind of like to the disadvantage of Saints Row 4, really, because in my opinion, Saints Row 4 wasn't very good. You could, like, the entire map is basically the same from 3, but
exactly
just
the same.
Like, yeah, just with like different kind of like themes and different kind of like art and style,
aliens and stuff like that around.
Yeah, I really didn't enjoy that game. I really loved 3. It was really, really, really fun 3 for me, but 4 was kind of like more the same, but not as good. But
huge amount of collectibles.
Too much. And by the end of that game, you're so overpowered. It's not even like fun anymore. It's like a chore.
Yeah, if I can remember correctly, actually, you can actually lock yourself out with a platinum on that, because if you kill all the enemies or take over all the regions, then you can't get, like, I think there's challenges that you have to fill out, and if there's no enemies there to, complete the challenges, then I think you'll lock yourself out with a platinum. I think I remember that. So, but yeah, I agree. It seems to be a trend nowadays that a lot of people are making some kind of DLC and then realize that, hey, we can, just expand this by a few hours and then charge $40.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think even Uncharted Lost Legacy, if you bought the season pass for Uncharted 4 last year or whenever it came out, exactly, you get that included, because that was part of the sort of promise of the season pass, that you got the campaign story edition DLC with it. So if you bought that, I guess you're kind of lucky, I guess, that you're getting a whole Uncharted game, more or less,
Getting your money's worth anyway, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely, for sure. If you're into buying season passes, I can't, that's not my thing personally. I was happy to buy Uncharted anyway at its retail price. I got it off of Amazon. I think it was like 24 quid or something. I got it on Amazon.
You got the pre-order for Jak and Daxter as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I usually don't pre-order games, but like I said in the previous episode, I was online browsing for Nier Automata because I went to my local game outlet, and they didn't have it. So I thought, I'm just gonna go Amazon. So I just saw it on there. It just popped up like, down the bottom was like people also bought. I was like, oh, I might as well just grab it now while I'm like just chuck it in the basket, and then it's done. And I didn't even think about the Jack and Daxter thing at all. It just got an email a few days later, and was like, oh, cool. I guess I'll just download it. I'll get to it eventually. Like I said, I've already platinumed it on Vita and PS3. I'm in no rush to do it on 4.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, actually, the 4 is the PlayStation 2. Is it like I'm not too sure if you played like the Grand Theft Auto trilogy and stuff like that. They're PlayStation 2 ports just straight over to PS4, where they did have a PlayStation 3 version, which is a bit of a HD remaster. Now, that's the version I played on PlayStation 3, and I've got Platinum on the very first Jack. But that's not the same game on the PlayStation 4, because it's the direct PlayStation 2 game to PS4. It skips that PlayStation 3 kind of remaster stuff.
So, Dishonored though, Claire, I haven't played any of those games. I was sort of interested in the first one when it was ported over to PS4, but my interest kind of melted away. But you've played them, right?
Yeah, I picked up the second one. I heard a lot of good things, but to be honest, it was only like, I know I can see why a lot of people liked it, but for me it was just one of those. I just thought it was average. I definitely don't think I'm going to pick up the Death of the Outsider, and I've seen the first Dishonored go very, very cheap in sales, and I haven't been tempted to pick it up. So, I enjoyed playing the second one, but I don't think I'm really interested in that type of gameplay, to be honest.
I technically own the first one actually, because it was on PlayStation Plus back on PS3,
yes,
and I did claim it and added it to my library, but I just never played it.
Yeah, I wouldn't go back to PlayStation 3 now anyway, but I I've seen like I said, I've seen it in a sale, and even though I know it's gone cheap, and I played that style of game before, so I'd know how to get it done. Not really interested in it. So
it's okay not to like games. If you don't like a popular game, like people sometimes misinterpret that if you're trying to be like edgy or trying to like shit on a game like deliberately to like for it to be cool. But it's okay just not to be interested in stuff.
Yeah,
it's like the Assassin's Creed games. Like people love the Assassin's Creed games. To me, they're not even on my radar. I'm sure they're great, but they're just not for me. Just not interested. And that's cool,
I feel like there is a limit to that though, because there's all well and well like not liking games, but there's no need to like talk shit about them all the time.
That's it, yeah.
Like, which I've seen people do a lot.
Yeah, some people make it their hobby to hate on games.
Yeah, like I wouldn't talk shit about the Assassin's Creed games because A, I haven't played them, and B, it doesn't really benefit me talking shit about a game I've not played, because that just makes me look like a bit of an idiot then.
Yeah, exactly.
About a game I've had no experience with.
It kind of varies from game to game, because like I said, I do enjoy Assassin's Creed. I don't really like much of the new ones. This newest one that's coming out has me interested, but I never played like Unity or any of those London-based crap or whatever it is. But I did like the other ones, and I'm completely acceptable of that. Like, I can see why people don't like them. But I remember you saying, Daz, that you have never played a Final Fantasy, and to me that's a sin. That is a sin. So I think
just again not interested.
What
it's
am I
just
doing
not for me.
with these people on a podcast? Oh my god. No, just joking. But I think, like I said, it varies from game to game. Like, if you really deeply love games, some people just can't bear any sort of criticism. It kind of goes back to what I was saying about Destiny. I've seen so many people say that like hating on Destiny just because maybe they don't play it, or they're jealous everyone really, really likes it, But it is okay not to like games, so don't worry about that.
Sure. Anything else in the news you want to discuss before we move on?
No, like I said, I checked the new releases. Dishonored was the only one that really standed out to me that we could really play and talk about. So we'll have to move on to our next segment, which is the staple that's come across, which is the tricky trophy section. This segment is where we look back through our trophy collections and some of the trophies that have been very, very challenging, rage-inducing gameplay, or something that just bored you to tears, and we've had to grind for so long just for that one single bronze, where we did a trophy that's like, you have to walk up to someone and talk to them and you get a gold trophy, but you have to grind for like 50 hours to get a bronze, So,
yeah, it's an unbalanced trophy list. I just don't, like I said before, I don't understand why they just swap those values round. It's the same trophy list, just swap the gold for the bronze. Like, it's crazy, some of these
complete the game on easy, get a gold. Like, complete the game on the hardest difficulty while not wearing socks or something like that, and it's a silver. It's
or
terrible.
bronze, yeah.
That's it. So, Daz, what's your tricky trophy?
Okay, well, seeing as we're a three-person show this week, we're gonna go for. I'm gonna go for two to pack out the content. So, first of all, I'm gonna go for. Okay, speaking of PS3 HD collections with Jack and Daxter, I'm speaking of one here. Ratchet and Clank, the Ratchet and Clank trilogy, the HD collection. The first game, in fact, just Ratchet and Clank. One trophy, not particularly difficult, but just boring.
I know it.
Boring, and just takes so much grinding. And it is a silver trophy for Bolt Collector. Collect 1 million bolts. Now, I've done this on both the PS3 version and the PS Vita version, and I didn't do it legit. I had to use a kind of, I don't want to call it a glitch or a bug, but I had. Sorry?
Has anyone done it legit? Because everyone that I know has done it.
I think a few people have done it legit or have to like grind it out. But what I did in this, okay, so the in-game currency is bolts. If you're not familiar with Ratchet and Clank, which you use to buy weapons, ammunition, gadgets, etc., etc. So 1 million in this game is a ridiculous target. You get nowhere near it. I think you'd have to play the game through fully, like 3 or 4 times, if you wanted to do it absolutely 100% legit with no grinding. It's a crazy target to hit. But there is a way of farming it, which I found. Now, in the first Ratchet and Clank, there's a race, a hoverboard race track. You can actually find a way of clipping and kind of pushing Ratchet through the wall to access, because you can't usually get on this racetrack without.
You can't walk on it as normal.
No, you can't walk on it. It's actually off limits to the player. You can only get on it when you're racing, but you can actually get on it if you clip through a wall. You have to kind of like. There's a method, and you push Ratchet through a wall and go out of the map, and then go around the back of the map and find the racetrack. Now, why do you need to go on this racetrack? Because on the racetrack, now in the game you have boxes, not dissimilar from Crash Bandicoot. And when you break the boxes, you get the bolts out of them. On the racetrack, the boxes respawn immediately. Like typically in a level, boxes don't respawn. You break them, they're gone for good until you come back later or reload the level. But on the racetrack, because it's out of the map, it doesn't quite stick to the normal physics of the game, because you're not supposed to go there, and also I don't know, it's kind of weird because where you're not supposed to walk on it, the game doesn't work quite properly on there. It's hard to describe unless you've done it. Anyway, the boxes respawn, so you use a weapon, and basically you just have to hold the button down and you just farm bolts, and it takes hours to do. I actually rubber banded my controller, and I don't literally mean rubber band. I actually put a metal G clamp, you know what you used to hold wood together when you saw through wood. I actually put one of them on my controller and just left it plugged in so it didn't die. The battery didn't die, and I must have left it for like overnight. I think it took like 6 to 8 hours. I think I left it on at midnight, and I didn't get the trophy till like 8 a.m. the next morning. Just absolute pain in the ass. And I did it on Vita as well, and I put like a crocodile clip or something similar, you know, what you use to tie food bags up with. When you open a bag, you put the clip on it to keep it fresh. Just put one of them on the Vita button and just went out, just plugged in on the charger, just went out all day and came back, and that took the same amount of time, 6 to 8 hours. Just such a bore. Like that is not a fun trophy in any way.
Great, fantastic game. I did that as well, but like you shouldn't have to like rubber band your controller for fucking 8 hours, man, just to get something like that. If you can't get it through the normal natural enjoyment of the game, it shouldn't be a trophy, you know, because that, like, you can basically do all the rest of the trophies and really, really enjoy the game, and then at the very end of it, you have to rubber band your controller overnight just to get something, you know what I mean?
All the other trophies are actually, they're related to skill points, which are all doable, and related to, there's like not really any story trophies, so to speak. They're like maybe like just complete the game or beat this boss, and that's it. Everything else is just natural progression, more or less. But they kind of made it a bit easier in the second and third game, because once you finished the game and played it on New Game Plus, you had bolt multipliers. So when you killed enemies, it would give you like a 2, 3, 4 times, up to like 9 or something times the bolts. So getting 1 million on the other 2 games is much, much easier.
Yeah.
So that's that one trophy. The other trophy I've chosen, is from a game, Claire, which you have played, and myself have played twice. We both have played it twice, both on PS3 and on PS4, and that's Shadow of Mordor. For Shadow of Mordor's trophy list, I've chosen the trophy. Is it a bronze trophy, even though it should be higher than bronze, in my opinion? A Mighty Doom. Acquire a level 25 rune. Now, Shadow of Mordor, I'm not going to go too much in depth of all the systems and whatever, but basically you get runes which you can attach to your weapons, which gives them like perks and buffs for your weapons. You can apply it to like your bow, your dagger, and your main sword, and damage buffs, and tops up your like rage mode, just for example, like does little things. But they are different tiers and different rarities. Like obviously rarer ones have better buffs for your weapons, and a level 25 rune is like the highest tier one you can get, but it's not one you can naturally find. When you kill enemies, they drop runes, but in order to get this rune, you have to do a really complicated series of things to get this rune. Now, Claire, you had the description for it, didn't you, earlier?
Yeah, essentially, like I said, naturally a level 25 rune will not drop, because basically...
You have to farm it, basically.
Yeah, and even then it's not guaranteed. It's basically RNG once you kill that guy, and you have to put in so much effort to set up the kill, and if you don't get the result at the very end of it, there's so much more effort to set it up again. So that's why you have to utilize a save. You have to back up your save, complete and kill the guy after you do all the work. If he doesn't drop the rune, you just have to back out, download your save from either USB or PlayStation Plus, and then try it again. But the amount of stuff, basically you have to get a war chief up to like level 20 at least, and then because if he's at level 20, he will only drop a level 20 rune, and that's where it comes in with the preparation, where you can get up that extra 5 levels. You have to know that person's weakness, exploit that person or that war chief's weakness or fear. They both add 2. So if he was level 20 and you did both of those things, he would only drop a level 22 rune.
So if this war chief is afraid of fire, you have to use fire whilst fighting him to activate that manipulating of his fear. And then, like Claire said, it will
add a level
bump
to the rune.
Potential rune up another 2 levels, but then you still need to do more on top of that as well.
Yeah, you have to find a war chief who's level 20, and then you have to satisfy these 5 different requirements to get a chance at a level 25 rune. But that takes a huge amount of time, and when you kill him, if you get a level 24 rune, you've wasted all that time if you don't back up your save or anything like that. From reading the trophy list here, one of the other easy ways to get a +1 for the level is a revenge kill. So that means you'd have to let that war chief kill you first, because then when you go to kill him back, it'll be a revenge kill on top of the exploiting of fear and knowing his weakness. That would get you a level 23 rune, and you still have to keep these going up, because you can't do it you can't do a revenge kill twice, or you can't exploit his fear twice. So you have to send a death threat to him, and that will add another one. And there's just so much of these things, and once you think you've satisfied it up to you're going to get a level 25, it's still RNG, whether he'll drop a level 25 rune or not. So like I said, you have to spend about an hour or 2 putting in the effort to set it all up.
Yeah.
And then once
I
it's
do
done,
remember it actually not dropping either, and luckily I did actually back up the save, and it did it again. Then it did. But if you don't back up your save, it's about an hour's worth of prep to do, because you have to basically get the war. There's the revenge kill, and then they have to be promoted to war chief as well for killing you. It is a real pain in the ass, but it's not the hardest trophy, really. This game is an easy platinum, but out of the entire list, I'd say this is the most.
It's a tricky trophy, but like I said, if you're not prepared for it and you don't know, especially if you don't save your game, it's going to be a nightmare. Because like I said, I think that's why I've gotten to platinum twice, PlayStation 4 version and the Game of the Year version. And I think when the very first time I played it, I didn't back up my save, so I had to go through all the prep again. And not even just that.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I think I might have said earlier PS3 version. That's not correct. I didn't play the PS3 version.
Yeah.
You're right. I played the PS4 version, then the Game of the Year edition, which has a separate, different new trophy list to it. That's right. Just wanted to clarify that.
And also as well, war chiefs don't come standard at level 20, so, and there's only 4 4 war chiefs at a time. So you'd have to kill them and cycle all through them till you get a level 20, and then you have to prep that guy to get a level 25. So there's a massive amount of work to be done into it, and then at the very end you might not even get the results that you needed out of it. So definitely a tricky trophy.
Cool, but that's my tricky trophies for this week.
Yeah, good ones. I got both of those as well, and I can definitely attest to those being very tricky trophies. So, Sophie, I wanted to ask you, what have you chosen for your tricky trophy?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to pronounce it.
What game is it from?
Dying Light.
I think I know the one.
You do. It's Homo homini lupus est. We'll go with that. That sounds about right.
Yeah, don't call me a homo, man. It's not nice. Nah, I know what you mean. Basically, that's a very, very tricky trophy. I can't pronounce it either. But tell us a little bit about it and how you got it.
It's only a bronze.
They're always a bronze.
Basically, you just got to walk around the map trying to save these people from the bad guys' men. But the spawn rate is just ridiculous. And it took me forever. Like, me and Carl spent ages just trying to find them, and you had to keep reloading, and it's going back to where we started. And honestly, it took me maybe 6 hours just to get 15 encounters.
Yeah, I like you said, I think I did that as well, because I've gotten that trophy as well. You have to reload your safe, and as far as I'm aware, it's really, really random, because there's other events, like that's for saving someone, and then there's other different types of events. So like you could go to the same place and a different type of event would show up, and you don't need that event because you probably already got that trophy. So you have to like keep reloading your save and keep doing it again and again.
And keep going back, and it was just a nightmare.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for it here now actually. It's Homo homini lupus este. Save 15 survivors from Raz's men. So like in Dying Light, I think there's like zombies obviously, and then there's like a group of evil humans, and there's a trophy for saving 15 people for zombies. That's pretty easy, but it's saving them from the humans that takes a massive amount of effort.
Yeah, and then they only spawn in certain places.
Did you
give me flashbacks?
Yeah, Vietnam flashbacks. Did you what I wanted to ask you, because it's been a long time since I played the game, is that the case where you had to like do what we did in Shadow of Mordor, where we had to like reload your save and like delete the save and download it from like PlayStation Plus and then try it again?
No, it's not that bad. You can just like go from one side of the map to the other and then back, and then just keep doing that, so you don't have to keep reloading. But it's still a nightmare.
Yeah, really, really is. Like I said, the spawn rate for the guys, I almost always got zombies. Like there would be a guy to save there, but it would be zombies attacking him, not the other guy's men.
Yeah.
So, and you need 15 of them as well. And actually, if I remember correctly, I'm 100% sure I did way more than 15, and I had to do like 20 or 25 for it to
we thought we did as well, but it just wouldn't go up. Oh, it's horrible.
So we have.
I can't say I have any input for this one. I've not played this game.
Yeah, so but
you definitely should.
Yeah, it's a very good game, but it has co-op trophies. So yeah,
I don't know. I'm kind of like burnt out on like zombie games in general.
You played Dead Island though, didn't you?
That's probably one of the reasons why I'm burnt out on that game. I like that game.
Yeah, it's made by the same developers. Actually, to be honest, it's probably a better version of all the Dead Island games. To be honest, so.
Maybe one day. I won't say never, but for the time being, I know I've heard a lot of positive stuff about it over the years, but never really glanced its way, to be honest.
There's co-op trophies. Luckily, I have the game on digital, so if you needed, I could help you. And I'm sure there's a few other people out there, but I'm pretty sure one of the trophies is you have to complete a certain amount of quests with, like, you have to complete 5 quests.
It's 5 quests with 4 other people.
Yeah. So you have to
3 other people
in the same game without dropping out. So I hate trophies like that. I really, really do. That's definitely a really, really tricky trophy. I can attest to that. Do you have any other ones, Sophie?
There's one called That Helped Right from Borderlands pre-sequel. Basically, when you're Claptrap, you have different like modes that you get.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really know how to explain it.
Pre-sequel was one of the games that I didn't actually play. I platinumed 1, Borderlands 1, and I got the Handsome Collection. But by the time that I platinumed Borderlands 2, I like absolutely had my fill of Borderlands, so I just traded in the Handsome Collection because I had no interest in playing pre-sequel. So
I really enjoyed it.
I don't know. Like I said, just had my fill of it. I just wasn't really interested anymore in playing Borderlands. Just put so much time into 2. You know, even if I did take a long break between 2 and then potentially playing pre-sequel, but when it got down to it, I was I wasn't hot on the idea anymore.
Yeah, I haven't played that much of the pre-sequel either. For me, I played Borderlands 1 when I got off PlayStation Plus on PlayStation 3 a long time ago. I really, really enjoyed it, and then I went out and got Borderlands 2. I platinumed both of those, but the PlayStation 4 version doesn't have Borderlands 1 in it. It only has Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel. I was lucky because I got most of the challenges. You don't need to do them again in Borderlands 2. So if you've already done them in Borderlands 3, it's very, very easy to get the platinum again on the PlayStation 4 version. But of course the pre-sequel I had never played, so I had to start all over again. And I hated that game. I hated it. I could not find... I swear, like, I played with friends, and of course Borderlands is co-op. And the 4 of us, I mean, between all of us, maybe at that time we had about 400, 500 platinums, maybe between all of us. And we literally got like halfway through the game to a map, and we spent an hour on the map, and we could not fucking figure out how to go forward. Like, between the 4 of us, like, we were fucking, like, the game made us feel tick. So all 4 of us was just like, fuck this game, man. And we just deleted it, and we didn't go back to it, man. I really, really, really did not like that pre-sequel.
It is more co-op sort of heavy, isn't it? I mean, I know Borderlands is co-op anyway, but can be anyway. But I looked at the trophies for that game before, deciding not to play it, and it does seem to be more co-op heavy, at least in the trophy list.
Yeah, I wish I could say more about it or how difficult it was, but
I can't really think of any co-op trophies in it, to be honest.
Maybe there's not, but like I said, the core gameplay of it just pissed me off so much I didn't even consider getting the platinum or the trophy, and I wouldn't now. I'd never go back to it and play it, so I can fully understand if it was definitely a tricky trophy, because to me it's a tricky game, so not unless a tricky trophy, so I definitely wouldn't go back to it. So my tricky trophy, I've only chosen one. It's a recent one that I've gotten, and it's from a Final Fantasy game, Daz, so you better listen up because you're going to be able to do it sometime. It's from Final Fantasy 12 from the HD collection. It just came out there not too long ago. Now, I think, in my opinion, that was the last Final Fantasy that I enjoyed. I played a lot of them, 13 and 15 after that, and they don't hold a candle to it. Final Fantasy 12, the story wasn't that good, but the gameplay is completely solid. But the gameplay in this one, it was basically an RNG based trophy, because there's certain, like, they're called concurrences, where it's basically a special move that you can use, and you enter into a stream where you can prolong the attack, essentially. So it's kind of like you use one of your characters' concurrence, and then it cycles down in the bottom right hand corner. It cycles through all your other characters that you have in the party, their concurrences, and it's random whether it'll allow you to continue the attack or not, and then you can just run out of time and stuff like that. But the trophy is for basically you have to activate like every single concurrence mode, and that means that it's just so difficult to explain. There's like level 3 concurrences, level 4, and then level 2 and level 1, and you have to activate like each one of those, and it's RNG because it might not allow you to continue it, and you might run out of time, and you have to do it so many amount of times that it's a nightmare, For the rest of the game is something you can just do with time based, like killing enemies, completing all the hunts and stuff like that, typical Final Fantasy stuff. But this is something
for someone who really likes Final Fantasy, you do spend a lot of time telling us how much of a chore the trophies are.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's JRPGs in general, really. They really stretch. They're incredibly grindy and stuff like that. But like, I don't mind a grindy trophy because you can see the light at the end of a tunnel. But something that's completely RNG based and is completely out of your control. It's basically like a slot machine, you know. So even it's not your ability that's going to get you that trophy. It's a roll of the dice, you know.
I think the reason not really interested in Final Fantasy games is because it's of the JRPG genre, and like you said, they're very grindy, really big games, like really intense in terms of like the hours and effort you have to put in.
Yeah.
And I think that's a real turn off for me, because I'm just not a fan of JRPGs in general, and Final Fantasy is quintessential JRPG because it literally is that, like, it is JRPG. It's like when you think of the genre JRPG, people think of the old Final Fantasy games, the sprites and whatnot. So it's just a genre it's just not for me, you know?
Yeah, of course. I do love to grind, but like I said, as long as I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, I know I just have to do something a certain amount of times or repeat it. That's pretty much okay with me. But what I hate is RNG based stuff like that. Not even how good I am at my abilities or how good I am at the game. You might not even get that trophy just because it's a swing of the dice, you know. It's really, really tough, and it was very, very tricky. I actually had to make a YouTube video on it, but even the YouTube video doesn't even give you a solid method. I don't think there is a solid method. It's just kind of explaining the mechanics behind the actual trophy to maximize your potential to actually earn all the different instances. But there's like 6 different instances that you have to get to, and it's just terrible because like I said, you have to press R2, and that reloads, randomly reloads your ability, whether you're going to be able to continue it or not. And then sometimes you press R2 and there's just not going to be an option to continue because you might have run out of your instances, and then that's gone. But you have to do it so many different times. It's a really, really tricky trophy. And compared to the rest of the list, which is all grindy, it can actually stop you from getting the platinum, really. So it's, like I said, that was my tricky trophy, really.
Certainly does sound like a pretty intense one.
Yeah, I'm very glad I got it out of the way, but like I said, even the video that I made couldn't offer any tips or tricks or to get it done. It was just kind of explaining the mechanics behind it and wishing people good luck on it.
Okay, cool.
Well, that brings us to pretty much the end of the segments here. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Discord, the leaderboards and some updates and stuff that we wanted to do. I wanted to say that one of our community organizers, the Vectronic, he is in the Hurricane Arena area, so if there's any thoughts you might want to give it to him, because we're always thinking about him. I know he's in the chat there today, but a lot of us have been focused on him and making sure that he's going to pull through correct. Also, we got the first kind of support from all our patrons through that as well, so they have directly supported us being able to continue doing this podcast. So we have a number of different patrons. I wanted to give all them a shout out. That's the PlayStation Bra, PT Void as well, Fiste as well. He's our newest patron as well. You guys basically keep us in this podcast game. Marco Sand as well. All you guys contribute to being able to us to keep doing this, so I really want to thank you if you guys are listening as well. And
yeah, absolutely. Thank you for everyone for your support, and just even not financial support either, but just like sharing and spreading the word about our podcast.
Yeah,
and just listening in as well, just downloading from iTunes, listening on SoundCloud, listening on YouTube, leaving comments, leaving likes, constructive criticism. It's all really appreciated. We are constantly evolving and trying to better ourselves at our product, at making the podcast better, and just getting more people involved.
Yeah, and we actually have 6 people here live listening to us, so I really want to thank you guys as well for coming around. You make the audience as well, so and the comments and stuff like that. We really, really appreciate it. And I also wanted to give a special thanks to Sophie as well for coming along and appearing as well. Thank you very much, Sophie. Because like I said, we want to get a lot of different variety on the podcast and stuff like that, so it's fantastic to be able to get like different people on, share their experiences as well. So thanks for joining us, Sophie. We hope we can get you on.
Sorry, was there much conversation?
No, it's perfectly fine. Like I said, we really hope we can get you on for another episode in the future as well. Also,
yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. Also, the I wanted to speak about, because we tallied up the amount of platinums that we earned for August, and I must say, guys, it's been another record-breaking month. Every month that goes forward, we smash our old records, and it's been fantastic. But you're not going to believe this, but last month we all, as collectively us as a group, we managed 398 platinums in a month.
That is pretty impressive. And of course, the very top of the board for the amount of platinums in the month of August, that was
Void.
That was Void, wasn't it? That was PVT Void.
I don't know how he does it, but he did it.
Oh,
he did it.
So many. It was insane. Like every day, you'd see him update in the community trophy challenge channel. He just constantly, like, he's a machine.
Yeah.
I'm just scrolling through now to.
It's fantastic. Also, for those who don't know, the games he plays, he's not just contributing to being the top person in the community trophy stuff. He adds to the challenge room and the hidden gems room in the Discord. So he's got this amazing ability to be able to find these hidden gems that have platinums that are very, very good games that might not take too long. He platinums them. He adds it to the trophy community challenge. And he also writes up a little bit about it and sticks it into the hidden gems so other people can find it as well. So
during the month of August, he's top of the leaderboard. He got 22 platinums in the month of August alone. That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, how? I mean, that's literally nearly one a day. That's amazing.
But you're right. He does find games and he adds them to the Hidden Gems channel. So for those who are not in the know, on our Discord server we have a channel called Hidden Gems where basically it's games that people may not necessarily know about that are either really good or just really easy platinums, and Void moderates that and he adds selection of his own experiences. He also takes suggestions as well and pins them into that too. So, if you're having a look around for maybe some decent games or easy platinums, check out Hidden Gems.
Yeah.
There's a good selection of games in there currently.
Yeah, fantastic amount. And also, although Void did top it, we had some people that came very, very close to him. And I want to start giving those guys a mention as well, because I think from now on we're going to list out the people who did come up on top. But coming in second place with 21 platinums, which is just one below Void. So he barely sneaked in first place there. That was with X Zone Hunter with 21 platinums. And then the silver rank went to Trophy Whore with 18 platinums. And then our very own resident piece of the furniture, Mako, he's got 14 platinums as well. So between those guys, that was basically like 60, 70 platinums, between 4 people in 1 month. So it's pretty amazing. It makes up a lot of the amount. But of course, like for me, I think I only got like 6 platinums, which
I think I got 7. I think I was mid-tier on the board.
I kind of got about 2.
I mean, if we told people like, oh, I got 6 platinums in a month, they'd be like, do you do anything other than game? And I'd be like, man, I know people that got like 3-4 times that amount, you know what I mean? So it's very, very easy. But like I said, I wanted to commend Void because he does put in a lot of effort to finding these games, platinum them, and then helping others discover those type of games as well. So if you're looking for those type of easy games that he did play, just check out the Hidden Gems section in the Discord. So yeah. I can't believe it, like 398 platinums is nearly what me and you have done our entire PlayStation history as, and those guys managed it in 1 month. It's been fantastic. Like every single month that we go by, we get way more. And Void is nearly up there. We have a trophy challenge for the top 10 trophy hunters of the year, which we're tracking. Void is nearly up there as well for the so far. But so far throughout this entire year, we started this community challenge in January. Our year goal is 2017 platinums, because obviously that's related to the year. Currently we're on 1,643 platinums, and we've got 3 months to go. So it looks like we're going to smash it. It looks like we're definitely going to meet that target, which is pretty amazing when you think about us as a group collectively are going to manage 2,000 platinums in a year. So we might have to start reevaluating our targets going into 2018.
Absolutely. It's good stuff. Good work from everyone.
Absolutely. So like I said, I'm very, very proud of it all. So that's pretty much what it is from us here in this episode. Like I said, I wanted to thank Daz for coming along as usual, and Sophie for appearing as well. I really enjoyed you having on the podcast.
Thank you.
We hope to get you on again.
Well, firstly, check out, like Claire just said, check out at the Trophy Trust. We just post updates for the podcast, and also we're trying to interact a little bit more with our followers as well. And also our YouTube channel as well. As I mentioned earlier, we appreciate the likes, the comments, and just the sharing in general. As for me, you can find me on Twitter at the Dazil, the DAZEEL.
Perfect. Where can people find you, Sophie, if you want people to find you?
Well, I am on Twitter as well. It's at Sophie_Ford.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's what I'm really on.
And for me, I'm always in Discord, or I'm on Twitter at Claire88Gaming. So that's pretty much it for us here in this episode. Really appreciate you guys all listening, both live and who are listening to this being recorded.
Yeah, thank you.
We hope to see you in the next episode.
Okay, see you later,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye.